So today we're looking at 15 of the most unexpected betrayals in story-driven games, the moments that made players yell at their screens, pause the game in disbelief, or just sit there wondering if they could ever trust anyone in a game again. Let's start with one of the most gut-wrenching examples, not because it's the biggest or the flashiest, but because it feels so personal. The world is falling apart, danger is everywhere, and the only way to survive is to stick with the people who have proven themselves. Mike and Bonnie are two of those people. They've been through hell alongside you, fighting walkers, surviving ambushes, and sharing the kind of hardship that forge unbreakable bonds. Or so you think. That's what makes their betrayal so devastating. One night when you're at your most vulnerable, they decide they had enough. They're not just leaving the group, they're taking the truck, the supplies, and anyone they can convince to come with them. In their minds, they're escaping the endless cycle of danger and bad decisions, but in reality, they're abandoning you to almost certain death. And it's not some clean quit exit. The situation spirals out of control, tensions boil over, and what starts as a betrayal becomes a chaotic, dangerous confrontation, one that costs lives. For Clementine, it's more than just losing two allies, it's the crushing reminder that in this world, even people who have stood by you for weeks, who have fought tooth and nails by your side, can still turn on you the moment fear takes over. In a series defined by tough moral choices, this one isn't yours, it's theirs, and that loss of control, that sudden shattering of trust, is what makes it linger long after the credits roll.
It's fine. Just...
From the moment you meet Anna, she feels like a steady presence in Lara's chaotic life. She's not just a family friend, she's a figure of comfort and stability after the loss of Lara's father. In a story filled with danger and uncertainty, Anna's is one of the few people Lara can truly lean on. That trust makes the betrayal sting so much more. You discover that Anna has been working with Trinity, the shadowy organization responsible for so much of the pain in Lara's life, and it's not just a recent alliance, she's been playing both sides from the very beginning, feeding information to your enemies while pretending to care. What's so gut-wrenching about this twist isn't just that Anna is the traitor, it's why. She's not motivated by greed or ideology, but her own desperation. Her life is on the line and she's made a deal with the devil to save herself. That human weakness, mixes with her personal connection to Lara, makes a betrayal feel all the more personal and tragic. In that moment, you don't just lose an ally, you lose someone who was practically family. And in a game built on survival and trust, that's a wound that cuts deeper than any bullet or foul cloud.
You're with them! I can't believe this. You
Rizzo isn't just another character in Ghost of Tsushima. He's Jin's childhood friend, someone who's shared both struggles and dreams with him since long before the Mongol invasion. As the leader of the Straw Hat Ronin, Rizzo has his own group to protect, but there's a mutual respect between these two men. They fought side by side, saved each other's life, and built a trust forged over years. That's why the betrayal cuts too deep. When Jin seeks Rizzo's help to fight the Mongols, you expect loyalty, but instead Rizzo sides with the enemy. It's not out of pure malice, it's desperation. His men are starving and the Mongols have promised food and safety in exchange for his cooperation. In his mind, it's the only way to save them, even if it means standing against his oldest friend. The confrontation is heartbreaking. Jin isn't facing a stranger or a power-hungry warlord, he's facing someone who knows him better than almost anyone. Someone who once shared his ideals, and when steel meets steel, it's not just a duel of swords, but a clash of loyalty, survival, and honor. Rizzo's betrayal is tragic because it's human. He's not evil. He's a man trapped between his morals and his responsibilities, and in choosing survival, he loses a part of himself. For Jin, it's a brutal reminder that in times of war, even the strongest bonds can be severed.
Enough!
Sam was more than just a trusted friend and loyal partner to Tommy and Jello. He was family, through the trials and chaos of the Mafia world. Sam stood by Tommy's side, ready to face any danger and take on any job. Their bond felt unbreakable, forged through shared struggles and countless close calls. But in the world of organized crime, loyalty is fragile and trust can be a deadly gamble. When the pressure mounts and enemies close in, Sam makes a shocking choice. Rather than backing Tommy, he turns his back, betraying the very brotherhood they once swore to uphold. It's not a betrayal driven by greed or selfishness alone, it's desperation, survival, and fear that cloud his judgment. Sam's decision shatters Tommy's trust and sends ripples through their world, forcing Tommy to confront the harsh reality that sometimes the people closest to you can become your greatest threat. This betrayal isn't just a plot twist, it's a gut punch, reminding players that in the Mafia, the line between friends and foe is razor thin and loyalty can be the deadliest gamble of all.
We sure had some laughs, right? Remember that time? Me, you, and Polly.
Albert Wesker is the ultimate embodiment of betrayal in the Resident Evil series. At first, he appears to be an ally, a skilled, confident member of STARS who fights alongside the team against the horrors lurking in the shadows. But beneath that calm exterior lies a calculating mastermind with his own dark agenda. Wesker's betrayal cuts deeper than most because it comes from within the team. He uses his position of trust to manipulate events from behind the scenes, feeding secrets to the very enemy he's supposed to fight. His cold, ruthless ambitions drives him to betray not just his teammates, but humanity itself. What makes Wesker's treachery so chilling is his complete lack of remorse. He views everyone else as pawns in his quest for power, willing to sacrifice anyone to achieve his goals. For players, discovering Wesker's true nature is a shocking and unforgettable moment, one that changed everything you thought you knew about loyalty and trust in the series. Wesker's betrayal isn't just a plot twist, it's a defining moment that shapes the entire Resident Evil saga, reminding players that sometimes the greatest threats comes from those closest to you.
To do with Umbrella. I just used Barry for my personal interests. Though both you and Barry seem to think I was following Umbrella's orders.
What? What are you planning?
This one on the list is one of my favorite one on the list. I'm talking about Yort from Demon's Souls. Yort looks harmless at the start and you rescue him from a cage thinking you've gained a new ally, but soon NPCs start disappearing. Turns out Yort's been killing them and you were the one who let him lose. That's really unique. It's the kind of betrayal that makes you paranoid in every Souls game after.
Hello, brave one. I was just looking for you. I am Yurt, the Silent. My work in Boletaria is almost complete. I have murdered every surviving human. Except for one.
After Yort going crazy, now it's time to talk about another NPC losing it. Whitley starts out as one of the most charming companions you could ask for in a game, clumsy, bumbling, and constantly making you laugh with his awkward rambling. He's the kind of sidekick you can't help but trust, partly because he's so obviously harmless. In a place as cold and mechanical as Aperture Science, he feels like your one genuine friend, but then comes the turning point. You help him take control of the facility, thinking it's the only way to stop Gladys, the AI who's been tormenting you. For a moment it feels like you've won, the danger is over, but the instant Whitley plugs into the mainframe, everything changed. His voice, his tone, even the way he looks at you. That goofy, lovable personality wraps into something unstable and unpredictable. He's not malicious in a way Gladys was. He's something arguably more terrifying, an incompetent fool with unlimited power, and the worst part is he's still Whitley, the same awkward, chatty personality you trusted, now turned into a captor who thinks he's doing the right thing, even as he leads everything toward disaster.
Yes, you are. You're a moron. They built to make me an idiot.
Well, how about now? Now who's a moron? Could a moron punch you into this pit? Ah! Could a moron do that?
Next one on our list is one of the one that I cannot pass on it because that experience was really weird back in the days. This is a kind of betrayal that could only come from the mind of a Hideo Kojima, a master stroke of deception that doesn't just stay on the surface of the story but reaches beyond the fourth wall to shatter the trust between the player and the game itself. It's a betrayal so layered, so meticulously crafted that you don't even realize you've fallen into its trap only it's far too late. Throughout the mission, you think you're in a constant communication with your trusted ally, Master Miller, a man who's been guiding you, giving you advice, keeping you alive in hostile territory, but then that voice in your ear starts to feel different. Subtle at first, the cadence, the tone, the way he pushes you towards certain actions. When the truth is finally revealed, you replay the events in your head and realize the horrifying scope of the deception. From the very beginning, your friend was never who he claimed to be. The Metal Gear Solid series has always been known for its shocking twists and unforgettable moments. Betrayals are almost a recurring tradition in this saga. Characters turn on each other, secret agendas are revealed, and double crosses comes when you least expect them. But most of these betrayals happen purely within the narrative, impacting the characters more than the player's own experience. This one is different. In the very first Metal Gear Solid, your main enemy, Liquid Snake, takes betrayal to a whole new level. Disguising himself as Master Miller, he infiltrates your trust without you even suspecting it. Every piece of vital information you've been feeding to Miller was going straight to man you were fighting against. At the time, this twist wasn't just surprising, it was jaw-dropping. It made you realize that even the codec, a system you believed was your safe line of communication, could be weaponized against you. It's blurred the lines between in-game trust and player trust, leaving you questioning everything you thought you knew. Even today, decades later, it remains one of the most brilliantly executed betrayals in gaming history.
The White House will have no choice but to surrender the Fox dye vaccine to me. Their ace in the hole is useless now.
Yes, last one was a twist, right? But this one's even more unforgettable, the kind that leaves players questioning everything. When you first step into the boots of a Haytham Kenway, Assassin's Creed 3 makes you believe you're the hero of this story. He's charismatic, skilled, and carries himself with the unmistakable air of a leader. From the opening moments, you follow him across oceans, infiltrating enemy strongholds and carrying out missions that feel like you serve a noble cause. He fights with precision, speaks with conviction, and it's easy to trust him because you're actually him. That's what makes the reveal so devastating. Hours into the game, after you've built a connection with Haytham and invested in his journey, the truth drops like a blade to the back. He's not an assassin at all, he's an high-ranking Templar. Everything you've done so far, every mission you thought was for the greater good, has been advancing the goals of the very enemy you've been trained to hate in this series. It's a betrayal not just from the character in this story, but of you, the player. Ubisoft doesn't just pull the rug out from under Connor, Haytham's own son, they pull it out from under your feet, and as the story unfolds, Haytham becomes one of the most complex antagonists in the franchise. A man whose loyalty lies with the ideology you oppose, yet whose charisma and cunning make him impossible to completely despise. In a series full of double crosses, Haytham stands out because it's personal, calculated, and brilliantly executed, turning the opening hours of the game into one of the greatest bait and switch betrayals in gaming history.
And this is why the Templars will never be destroyed.
Haytham's twist blindsides you as a player, but some games go a step further, turning partners into enemies right before your eyes. A Way Out is built entirely on trust. You and your partner, Leo and Vincent, have to work together to escape prison, evade the law, and survive against impossible odds. Every puzzle, every fight, every tense moment demands cooperation, and through it all, Vincent feels like a steady hand, calm, rational, and always focused on the plan. That's why the ending hits like a freight train. After everything you've been through, the truth comes out. Vincent isn't just another desperate fugitive, he's an undercover cop, and the entire escape, every close call, every brotherly moment was part of his assignment. The Betrayal is more than a plot twist. It forces players to rethink the entire game. Those moments of friendship, the shared victories, they weren't what you thought they were, and now you're no longer partners in survival. You're enemies in a fight to the death. It's rare for a game to make both players feel such a gut punch at the same time. Whether you're Vincent or Leo, the reveal flips your emotions upside down, proving that sometimes the biggest twist isn't just in the story, it's in how it makes you question the trust you built along the way. From the moment you arrive in the underwater city of Rapture, Atlas becomes your lifeline. His calm Irish voice on the radio guides you through the chaos, warning you of dangers ahead, offering help when you're trapped, and even sharing personal details about his family in need of rescue. In a city full of madness and monsters, Atlas feels like the one person you can trust, and you do trust him for hours. You follow his instruction, fight his battles, and risk your life to help him. Every step of your way, you believe you're working toward a noble goal, saving an innocent family from the clutches of a tyrant. Then comes the twist. Atlas isn't Atlas at all. He's Frank Fontaine, a ruthless conman and criminal mastermind who's been manipulating you from the very start. Every order he gave, every favor he asked was part of a carefully constructed scheme, and you followed them without question because of one simple phrase: "Would you kindly?" But then the revelation hits like a punch to the gut. You realize you were never truly in control. Every action you took was under Fontaine's influence, thanks to the psychological conditioning hidden in your very DNA. It's not just a betrayal of trust, it's a betrayal of free will itself. In one masterstroke, BioShock turns a helpful ally into one of gaming's most iconic villains and turns the player's own agency into the ultimate illusion.
You okay with that?
Get me the ace. I'll wrap the brat in a silk ribbon. Bag her and bring her to my bathysphere.
But some betrayals cut even deeper, striking at the bonds of blood itself. In Final Fantasy XVI, Annabella Rossfield is more than just a mother. She is the figure who should represent safety, loyalty, and unconditional love for her children, Clive and Joshua. At the start, you might expect her to be a protective presence in a brutal and war-torn world, but the truth is far colder. Annabella's betrayal isn't sudden, it's woven into her very nature. Her loyalty lies not with her family, but with power, status, and her own ambitions. When political tides shift, she doesn't hesitate to cast aside her husband and even manipulate her own sons, treating them not as children to be cherished but as tools in her personal game of influence. What makes her treachery so venomous is the intimacy of it. Betrayal from a friend or comrade is painful, but betrayal from your own mother cuts to the bone. Clive's journey is already heavy with loss, and Annabella's coldness becomes another weight he must carry. She embodies the kind of betrayal that isn't driven by desperation and survival, but by ruthless self-interest. In a story filled with war, monsters, and political intrigue, Annabella stands out as one of the most personal and emotionally devastating betrayals, because it's not just the kingdom that loses her loyalty, it's her own blood.
Joshua! Wake up!
From the moment Micah Bell rides into the Vanderlinde gang, some things about him feels off. He's loud, arrogant, and always itching for violence. But Dutch vouches for him, and in the outlaw life, you don't survive long without trusting your crew, at least a little. So Arthur puts up with him, even rides alongside him on jobs, despite the uneasy feeling in his gut. As the gang's world starts to crumble under mounting pressure from the law, Pinkertons, and their own bad decision, Micah worms his way closer to Dutch. While others plead for reason, Micah whispers poison into Dutch's ear, stalking his paranoia and turning him against the people who have been loyal for years. The truth finally hits like a hammer. Micah's been an informant for the Pinkertons all along. Every time the gang was one step behind, every close call with the law, it was because Micah was feeding them information. For Arthur Morgan, the betrayal isn't just about danger, it's about watching a man you never trusted destroy the family you bled for from the inside. Micah's treachery is pure venom. not born from desperation or survival, but from greed and self-preservation. In a world where loyalty is all an outlaw has, Micah proves that some men will sell their souls and everyone around them for the highest bid.
It's betraying me. Well, I'm here. Think for yourself. He's lying. He's lying. Put your guns down! God damn it! Move! You ready?
When CJ returns to Los Santos after his mother's death, Big Smoke is one of the first friendly faces to greet him. He's larger than life, always cracking jokes, talking about food and reminiscing about the old days. Alongside Ryder and Sweet, Smoke feels like part of the foundation of Groove Street, a brother who's been there since the beginning. For a while he plays the part well. He rides with you on missions, talk about loyalty and paints himself as someone who'll stand by Groove Street until the end. But behind the laughs and exaggerated orders at clocking bell, Smoke is laying the groundwork for the ultimate betrayal. The truth comes out in one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the game. Big Smoke has sold out Groove Street, working with corrupt cops and rival gangs to flood the streets with drugs. It wasn't about survival. It was about greed, power, money, and influence meant more to him than the family that raised him. What makes it distinct isn't just the betrayal itself, but how long he kept up the act. You shared the front seat with him, fought alongside him and trusted him. Then you find out every memory was just a mask for someone who was already building his empire on your downfall. Big Smoke's betrayal is one of the most famous in game because it's personal, it's shocking, and it changes how you see every moment leading up to it. By the time you face him in that final confrontation, it's not just about stopping a criminal, it's about putting an end to a friend who became your worst enemy.
I can't be touched. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the whole world.
What happened to you, man?
Man, what the fuck do you care? I guess we better do this shit then.
But this list wouldn't be complete without the one betrayal that broke us all, the kind that left us staring at the screen in disbelief. From the start of Modern Warfare 2, General Shepard is the man calling the shots, the voice of authority in a chaotic world. He commands with confidence, speaks with conviction, and positions himself as the one trying to protect freedom at all costs. As Task 141, you follow his orders without hesitation, believing he's the ally who has your back in a war spiraling out of control. Missions after mission, you fight through hell under his command. You trust him because you have to. In a battlefield full of uncertainty, your commander is the one constant. And then comes that mission, Loose Ends. You and Ghost secure vital intel after a brutal firefight, barely making it out alive. Shepard arrives with reinforcements and then pulls the trigger. No speech, no warning, just cold, methodical execution, burning you and Ghost to erase any trace of the operation. In a single moment, the man you thought was fighting with you becomes the man you're fighting against. Shepard's motive is as twisted as his betrayal. He wants to control the narrative of the war to make himself the hero by manufacturing the right kind of victory. You weren't soldiers in his eyes, you were loose ends to tie up. It's one of gaming's most infamous betrayals, not just because of shock, but because it's so sudden and absolute. You don't lose to the enemy you've been fighting all along, you lose to the man you've trusted to lead you.
We're under attack by Shepard's men in the boneyard! Sir, hold the left flank! Do not trust Shepard! I say again, do not trust Shepard! Sir, get down!
Which of the betrayals shocked you the most? Drop them in the comment section. I want to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic gaming breakdowns coming your way. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Betrayal in games isn't just about plot twists, it's about how those moments makes you feel. Until next time, keep your friend close and your controller closer. Thanks for watching, see you guys on the next one, much love and as always, peace out.